everyone, Dark Ramos here with the Volume Profile Nerd, and I'll jump into my trade review for Monday, June 5th, 2023. And yeah, so I'll jump right into it. I'll go over the ruling reason for today and what I was observing. So essentially, we had uh, this these few hourly ranges. Um, we had this one from 318, 322, 22, and we had this lower one here, 419, from 419, 421, 22. So we couldn't find much acceptance into this hourly range, and we pulled back quite a bit. So the pullback, it was mostly Apple. I was watching NVDA as well and SMH, and those could have been good clues as well. So in my development right now as a trader, the biggest thing for me is correlation trading, and that's watching the sectors and tech and basing my plays off those correlations along with the volume profile levels that I have drawn up. So I feel like it's gonna help me improve my game as far as like where I pick my spots. Like if I see that Apple or Amazon or NVDA, they're approaching a key level that could act as resistance, and NQ is approaching some type of key level, or where we pulled back underneath a range and could back test it for a short, that's something that I'm gonna look more for. And the same if looking long, like if a lot of tech is strong and we bounce above a 1 minute range or something, and I could look for the back test. And that's using Confluence as well with day time frame references and daily and hourly ranges. So the way the day played out today, it was really interesting because, yeah, I don't know. So we oscillated around. We oscillated around this daily value area low of 211.22, 217.22 in the morning. Then we bounced, broke above, and then we came back down, oscillated around it again, and then had the big bear break. And at this point is when Apple and NVDA was also pulling back, and Amazon was pulling back, and tech just was a bit weaker. Actually, yeah, the only sector, XLV was sideways and XLF pulled back and then had a bounce later in the day, or like kind of after the morning. XLF was bouncing, so yeah, I would say NQ was the weakest sector later in the day, and again, that's because of Apple and NVDA, and SMH too was weak. So, looking at SMH, and just kind of to give you a reference for this correlation trading, if we look at SMH at, let's see, when SMH was approaching its low of yesterday, which was around 11:51, NQ at that time 11:51. So at that time, yeah, NQ is just finding its high of day right here, right when SMH was approaching its low of yesterday, and after that we got like a more than 100-point move to the downside. So yeah, that's how I can use correlation trading, right? Like if NVDA is hitting a key level, so 11:51. Let's look at let's look at Amazon at 11:51. Amazon 11:51. Let's just say 11:50. Amazon is getting a lower high right here off this hourly kind of pivot. Get a lower high here on Amazon. And Apple at 11:50. I think Apple was still heading a bit higher. Yeah, Apple did get another leg up, but Amazon was kind of pulling back, so I think that helped NQ. Yeah, Apple did get this little leg up at 11:50, but NVDA at 11:50 was right here. So we did get we couldn't get above this high. We did get another little bounce, but after this, after not finding acceptance above this kind of lower high, we did have a nice pullback on NVDA. And the other thing I was watching on NVDA was this 15-minute range that I had drawn up. So it's regular trading hours. So this range right here, and buyers held the value area high initially, and we got a bounce from there. We got a bounce initially from here. We came back into it, couldn't find acceptance back in, and then we got a bounce at the end of the day. The reason I wasn't so aggressive at the end of the day looking, for a short essentially is because of this. Because I was waiting to see if NVDA would get more acceptance into this range to head to the POC, but we held it and bounced at the end there. But Apple was still weak, and Amazon, yeah, Apple was what was really helping NQ get some follow through to the downside. But we did get a little bounce near the end of the day. All right, so that was kind of the overview of the day, and that's where I'm using sectors and tech more for correlation trading. And I've just started. It's just like I've really seen the importance of correlation trading just the last maybe month or so, and so I still feel like kind of new to it. Like I've worked a lot with the different ranges, specifically on the futures, but watching sectors and tech, I think, is going to give me another kind of edge as far as where I pick my spots. Okay, so with that said, I'll jump into NQ. So I only traded NQ today. I did have too much activity today, so that's something I'm going to look to mitigate into tomorrow. It was a green day, but given some of the moves today, I think I could have done much better. And I'm still going to warm up with the micros, but I think I have to maybe use the minis a bit more, or like make one attempt with the minis, then the micros, and then like really high conviction plays. I think I can use the minis, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do still like trading with the micros in the morning because it just warms me up for the day, and I like that warm up to get a little bit of practice with the micros, before deciding to play with the minis, and it lets price action develop, and I can see where buyers and sellers are trying to get to, and it's just a kind of a nice practice there for me. All right, so I'll start with my first trade of the morning. So my first trade was a long, and essentially we had a big move up. So let's see, we open right down here, and I wasn't here for the open. I had some other things to attend to, but I come back and I see buyers are, they're proving it. They're getting a nice bounce in the morning, and so I look at the hourlies and I recognize, okay, we're getting above this hourly value area low right here. We're getting above the regular trading hours high, and we're getting back into this daily range. So to me, I'm thinking I'm a little late to the party. I recognize that. Like the better trade honestly would have been, I had a 1 minute range here and we just held it, like went sideways on top of it. And I could have entered here at the value area high, and that would have been the trade. So, but I did come after, like we were like maybe here or something. And so I was trying to pick my spot, couldn't find anything great. So I decided that, we had a little bit of sideways here. So I drew that up and I decided to go long off the value area high here. And yeah, I got risk free, got risk free here. And then I got stopped out here. And after this, I didn't have the idea of going for the sell, even though maybe I could have. Like the sell would have been decent here because we got below this value area low of this hourly range right here and back tested it, and we had this range, and we back tested the POC of this little range, and then we had the pullback. The reason I didn't love the short there is because we were above the regular trading hours high, so I didn't want to fight the buyers too much. And I actually did go long here again, and I got stopped out here. So a little bit red on the day after those two trades. Then we get the big pullback, and now I'm recognizing, let me see here. So yeah, I had this range from, it was the end of Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, this range from Friday. And I figured that sellers would have some problems there. If they were to have problems, I think it would be here. And that's exactly where they had problems. So we pulled back right to it. I didn't look for the sell on this way down, which I think I could have, but I didn't have a spot and I didn't want to chase. And after we get down here, let me see here. Um, yeah, once we get down here and we have this 1 minute range that I drew from, it was from yesterday. I'm not going to go all the way back. I started looking for the long, and I thought this was pretty nice. So I saw we held the value area low of that range that I drew from yesterday, and I said I'm gonna go long off the back test of the value area high. So I went long here, got risk free, and then got stopped out here, and then I saw and the reason I like the long here too is because we couldn't tag the overnight high, and so I thought buyers might be in the mix, but then sellers did tag the overnight high right here. And once we got back into this range and above the POC, I entered. Once we cracked the POC, I marketed in, sold half here to get risk free. I sold another half at the value area high here. Or no, sold another contract at the value area high, and then cut the contract here at the near the regular trading hours high. This wasn't intentional. I had my bracket order set and I didn't adjust it here, but I wasn't mad at it because it was close to the regular trading hours high, which is fine. And then I didn't adjust the contract here because I only had one contract left, and my take profit was for two contracts, so I entered a short accidentally and cut it real quick for a very small loss, like just a point or like a point and a half or something like that. Like, yeah, it was like 2 points on one contract on the micros. So this was probably my best trade of the day. And again, this is where I'm saying like maybe I can have more conviction in the minis, because had I taken a mini trade to get to the regular trading hours high, that's 40 points, which would absolutely make my day, and I would not need to trade with the minis after that. And I would probably have enough cushion to maybe take another high conviction trade. But yeah, the reason I like this trade is, I felt like if sellers were going to have a problem, it would be at this range from the end of Friday. That nice sideways range we had. We held it here, and then I had a range. I'll go ahead and grab it because I don't want to be lazy. But yeah, essentially it was like the end, a little range from the end of all this sideways range. So yeah. So that was a nice trade there. And after this, let's see. Yeah, I go long again off the value area high. I like the trade location here. This was right here. Again, we back tested this value area high from the end of Friday. And I'm also recognizing on the daily, let me look here on the daily. Yeah, I guess I could have been a bit more cautious, but we back tested this daily value area high here, and then we higher load off this range, and basically that 1 minute range that I had from the end of Friday here. So I entered long here, got risk free here, sold another contract here, maybe a bit too soon, and I don't know why I sold here. I think I was just, I don't know. I got scared out of the trade, I guess, or I felt like we got this pullback and sellers could, take over. But in hindsight, had I left my stop where it was, wouldn't have gotten stopped out and could have gotten like, we got all the way up to 692. So from where I entered, it's about 100 points. So by not moving my stop, I could have had an extra 100 points. Obviously, I don't know if I would have sold at the top, but yeah, that's one of the biggest improvements of my game. And I really try to hold, but sometimes on minis, I had a trade on the minis at the end of the day that could have been my biggest trade. But yeah, I just have a hard time, especially on minis after seeing profit. I have a hard time letting it ride, and it's mostly because I'm not willing to put on 3 contracts yet on the minis. I don't want to take on that risk, but if I did put on 3 contracts, I could have a few spots where I chopped and then leave a runner to get to like a much larger target. But with only two contracts, I have to sit through, you know, lower highs or higher lows on that one contract, and you know, pretty much watch profits dwindle. And then if I move my stop, I might move my stop prematurely, and this trade could still have legs, but I get stopped out because I moved my stop. So yeah, unless I have high conviction, I mean, and I'm getting better because I'll enter a minis trade and I'll be like, yeah, don't sell. And sometimes I get stopped out, but if it's a risk free trade, I just pay for commissions, and that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, took that trade there. And at this point, so now I think I'm, I think I'm green. Like I was pretty green most of the morning. I did take a loss here. I went long here and got stopped out here. Then I went short here and got stopped out here. So I got a little chopped up here. And I'm trying to see like what spurred those trades. Yeah, I think yeah, let's see. Yeah, maybe I thought we were like oscillating a bit around this daily value area low. I shouldn't have traded in this area because this area is the daily value area low here, and we're not back into this hourly range above. We're kind of in no man's land a little bit, and so we just were sideways for a bit, and I could have been a bit more cautious for that. But yeah, it got a little chopped up here. I went. I was watching something here. What was I watching? Yeah, I think I was watching this value area high here of this range, and I thought I had another like 1 minute range that I was watching. I felt like I was. Maybe I was watching it on. Yeah, I think I was watching. Let me delete this. Yeah, that's what it was. I was watching on this chart down here. I was watching the value area high of this range here, and so once we got to the value area high, I looked for the long here, and we were above the value area high of Friday. So I entered long here, got risk free, sold another contract here, and then got stopped out here. And then I decided to go short because, let me see. Yeah, so we got a little back into this range here. And so I looked for the short once I saw this bigger pullback. I looked for the short pretty much off this value area high here of this little range. And I do think I was playing off something else. Maybe I wasn't. But yeah, pretty much just watching. So it would have been like this level here. And I'm not, maybe I'll draw it out just so it's a bit more clear to see. Again, I get used to watching the price cursor or the price line, and that's what I kind of use to enter the trades. So, you know, we got underneath it, back tested it. I entered short here, got risk free here, sold another contract here, and got stopped out here. Didn't adjust my contract, so I did go long, and then, you know, took a small loss here. I cut it quickly, so it was a small loss of, you know, 2 points here. So I got to be more careful adjusting my contract sizes when I, you know, chop 3 out of 4 contracts. So yeah, after this, you know, I have this little 5-second range, and we get above the regular trading hours high and above the 5-second range. So, and it's a back test off this hourly value area low. And at this point, we're getting back into this daily range of 211, 217, 22. So right here. And so I decided to go long. This was another good trade. I decided to go long right here, kind of off the POC. And I get risk free here, sell another contract up here. And then I move my stop here. So I 1 minute stair stepped it, which I thought was great. So here on this chart, I 1 minute stair stepped it up until right here. So Yeah, my target was like 14,658 initially, which was the POC, just under the POC of this hourly range, which was 14,663.50. And by 1 minute stair stepping it, I got an extra 4 points, which is great. Really, really happy with that I used the stair step there. Yeah, so that was another nice trade. Again, so this is where I say, like, playing with the minis, and I'm doing really good. If that was, that's 26 points on the minis. But yeah, that's where, like, I do take some losses though on the micros. But higher conviction trades, I think I should be okay with putting on a bit more risk, and so something I'm continuously working on and fine tuning. So after this, I think we have this little range here, and I think I looked short to play short off of this little range, and the reason was because we had this big pullback, and I looked to go short off of this range because, yeah, I thought we would backtest this hourly POC and maybe head lower. But I didn't love this trade, and the reason for that is because we're back in this daily range, so buyers have favor because we did get above the value area low here of this daily range, so buyers do have favor here, and didn't need to go short here, so did take a stop here on the micros. Then I decided to play the minis. I decided to go short off of this range, and this is 1021, and I think I might have been looking at sectors in tech. Yeah, SMH, it wasn't really approaching yet the high of yesterday. Should have been more careful there. 1021. Yeah, NVDA is here. Got another leg up. 1021 on Apple. Yeah, Apple's still climbing. And Amazon 1021. Yeah, it could have been Amazon that maybe made me want to take it, but I don't know. Buyers still had favor, I felt. Could have been a bit more patient. But yeah, entered on the minis here, got risk free, and then took a stop. It was a chop and stop here, which was fine. I just paid for commissions. And then here, once I saw we had another little range here, we got below it, got back above it, back tested the value area low. I decided to go long off the value area high. So I entered long on the minis here, and I sold most of my contracts about 5 points in because I don't know, I like the gains, and I just felt like, I wasn't sure. It was a mixed bag today with sectors, and tech was also a mixed bag. Like, yeah, Apple was strong, but SMH was still under the low of yesterday. So just took those 8.5 points on the minis, which was a good trade. And yeah, I didn't know how much follow through buyers would get above this hourly. No, actually at this point we're well above the hourly POC. Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to take the gains there, which I'm glad I did because we did pull back after that. Then after this, I play the micros. I see we get under this little range that held as support. So I look for the sell. Once we approach it, I think I had a limit sell and just got stopped out quickly. Then I entered short here. Didn't love it, so I think cut it real quick. Then I entered long here. And once we got back into the range, I cut it because that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see buyers hold it for continuation. I think I would have gotten stopped down here had I not cut it. But once we held the POC, maybe that would have been the entry to get a few points here. So took a few small losses here, took a full loss here. And yeah, so after this, no, was this a mini trade? Yeah, it was. Let me see, 1032. Let me just double check this. No, 1232. Yeah, it was. That was my biggest trade actually right here. Okay, so after this, I'm using this range because I see that it's been really reactive. held as support here, here. And so if we get under it or get back into it, I want to look for the sell. But I wasn't sure if buyers were going to hold or if sellers were going to hold, because buyers were sideways and up at this point. And so, yeah, we did have this big pullback, so maybe I could have been a bit more aggressive for the sell. But after this, I went long here quickly off the POC, and I just cut it here because I didn't like this big pullback. I didn't really love that, so I just cut it here. Then I went long off the value area high, got stopped out here pretty quickly. I took a minis trade here off the POC, and after we couldn't get above the value area high, I did cut it here because I wanted buyers to do this, and same here, I wanted buyers to do this. I did take a full loss here. Here I cut it because we held the value area high and pulled back, so I just cut it here probably paid for commissions, if that. And I did take a full loss on the minis here because I thought we were going to do, like this, because I just felt like, we're above this daily range and we're above the hourly POC. So this was right here. We're above the hourly POC. We have some ranges here that I thought we would hold. That's the other reason. So I drew up this range, and I thought, at this point we didn't get above the value area high. So in this instance, I think it would have been prudent to draw this one up for more clarity, to kind of know exactly where we are relative to the ranges, right? We literally were just at the value area high right here, so I could have been way more careful looking for the sell or looking for the long there. So we couldn't, we back tested the value area high, couldn't find acceptance above, and so I took a full loss on the minis here, right there, and this would have been a good sell right here, knowing that here we couldn't find acceptance back above this range here, and we could at least get to the other side of value, which could have gotten me risk-free and then some. So we break below, back test the POC, and then have a really nice move down. And after this, we have this move down, and this is where I looked for the sell right here on the minis, because why did I look for the sell? Let's see. I think it's a bit more clear here. Boop, boop, boop. Right here. Yes. Yep. This was, I really like this trade. So I had a sell limit here, and essentially it's just looking at this 1 minute, excuse me. So we had this range on the 1 minute, we break below, and then we back test it. And I entered at 14,656. My stop was at 6.1. So it was above here. And this is when I cut it too early. And my target was the value area high of, this range right here. That was my target. Okay. That was the target. And got some nice points out of that. 17 points. It's a nice trade. So after this, I'm really nicely green. It's over like almost 170 NQ points, which is a nice day. I really like that trade. Had I held, it would have been definitely my biggest trade yet. But I didn't have targets down here, I don't think. Like, I would have had to really thought that, sellers could get to the value area high of this hourly range of 419, 421, which is what they did. And we essentially almost got to this range here on the daily that I drew up. So didn't have that in mind too much, but given how much Apple pulled back, and NVDA was pulling back as well, I think NVDA was getting under its low of yesterday at that point. So this was 1237 NVDA. at 1237. Yep, NVDA is getting under its low of yesterday. So I really, this can have me a little bit more, I don't know, a more conviction that sellers could be more in the mix. Yeah, definitely could kind of tip me off for that. But I thought NVDA could hold all of this. Um, so if I draw up like some sideways range here, something like this, I thought NVDA, even if it got under its low of yesterday, it could hold either the POC here or this value area low, but that's not what happened. Sellers were in the mix. And after this, because I'm up on the day, I decide to, I guess, be a bit more aggressive with the micros, which was not great. Gave back about a bit over a third of my profit playing with the micros here. So after I see we get this pullback, we hold the regular trading hours high and we bounce, and then we hold the value area low. I look for the long here above the value area high, enter long here, get stopped out here. Then I see we hold the value area high again. I enter long like near the POC, get stopped out here. I enter long again, get risk free, and then I get stopped out here. So 2 full losses on the micros and a break even. So I paid for commissions on this one. So yeah, I just thought, I thought here we would hold the value area low of this hourly range, which is not what happened. We just, pulled back more below the regular trading hours high. And given that Apple was so weak, Apple just gave back pretty much all of its move from the morning. That could have had me more aggressively looking for the sell rather than looking for the long at all. Like this was 12. When I took those trades, 1247. Apple 1247. Yeah, Apple's already like close to giving back all of its move from the day. So yeah, and then the best move here would have been once Apple got this lower high. We knew the more likely scenario would be a lower high. So at 1323, yeah, there was a beautiful short right here. It was absolute, and I didn't take it, and I'm not sure why. I think I was just focused on something else, but there was a beautiful short right here, and I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, after I take a few losses here and break even, I think I'm telling myself, stop trading, because you've given back like a third of your profits, and do you really want to give back more? Like if you get away with what you've done today, like it's a good day. So just calm down. That's what I told myself. But this is where staying alert and reading the room, reading the sectors, reading tech, this is where I'm saying, like, I'm starting to see that there's a lot of growth for me here in analyzing sectors in tech, because the more that I train myself and practice reminding myself to look at the story of what sectors in tech are telling me, the more inclined and the more alert I can be, and the more inclined I can be to use my ranges and levels to potentially look for a play. So Apple is, the more likely scenario on Apple is a lower high, like a 5-minute lower high. And so we get, we get some oscillation here. We break below the regular trading hours high, break above, oscillate right around here, break below, oscillate around, this range from the morning, and basically these two ranges from the morning that I had here. And the sell I felt would have been right here at this value area low, because we couldn't find acceptance above it here. And so if we back test it, I think it could be a really good sell. Yeah, we're above the regular trading hours high, but given the climate of, NVDA pulling back, Apple pulling back, Amazon pulling back, SMH, 12, this was 1323, SMH, yeah, we're not even getting to its low of yesterday and pulling back. And yeah, SMH was like right here. What did I say? 1322? 13. Yeah, so SMH still pulling back like right here. So given all that, I think that was a decent short, right? Like sellers are more in the mix than buyers, so I can use these ranges a bit more, and that would have been a beautiful sell. I'm not sure what my target would be. Let me see. Where was it? Where did I mention that? It was right here. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is another reason I really like this play because we back test right at that level. We're back testing this hourly value area low. Um, we're back testing this hourly value area low. So everything lined up there. I just wasn't paying enough attention to get that short, and we went from here all the way to the value area high of this hourly range, and just cut through all of this from Friday. We cut through it, got to the value area high of this range here. So a lot of things lined up there, a lot of confluence, and just got to remind myself to stay alert, pay attention, because these plays do set up and will set up. They do set up basically. So I just got to stay alert for that. So after this, after I'm seeing Apple pulling back so much, I'm looking again. I'm looking aggressively short, and so I'm recognizing, okay, I have this range from the morning. It did come into play quite a bit, here on the morning, came into play here, kind of came into play here, came into play here. So I'm kind of looking for the sell a bit aggressively, and I did have this range from Friday. Let me see where's that range from? Yeah, the end of day Friday. Yeah, end of day Friday right here. So I'm looking for the sell a bit aggressively here, and my execution was just a little bit lackluster. And I actually told myself, I think I literally, no, actually, I told myself to go short here. So I think I had a sell limit, or I just marketed in here, looking for the sell off the value area high of this range, because I'm just recognizing, yeah, we're under this hourly value area low, so maybe we'll get another lower high to head back to the value area high of this range, which we did. So enter short here, up here, got stopped out. And yeah, I guess I'm okay that I took that. I don't mind it too much. But I, probably watching the sectors and NVDA and all that, I could have been maybe a little bit more picky. And then I enter the sell here at this POC. Almost got risk-free, but then got stopped out almost to the tick up here, at this value area high of this range, or it was at exactly at the value area high of Friday. So I guess stopped out almost at the top. And after this, I'm seeing the trade is still valid, so I enter short here, get risk-free, sell another contract at kind of this range and at the value area low here of this 1 minute range from Friday. And then I just cut it here. I didn't want to mess around with buyers. I made some back from, took 2 full losses here. So I gave back almost 2/3 at this point, or a little less than 2/3. And this made back a good amount. So I gave back a little over 1/3 of my profits from the morning. And so after this, I'm up about 100 MNQ points, or 10 NQ points, which in hindsight, like, if I'm playing minis more often, like whatever, but yeah, it's still decent. Like on MNQ, that's 100 MNQ points. So, I'll take it. And after this, I don't trade at all. I'm not interested in trading because we just had a lot of volatility, and I don't want to get caught up in the aftermath or the settling down of the volatility. So didn't take any plays after this. Although there was some nice plays, we got above the open, got above this little range, and after we held the overnight high in POC, couldn't get below it. So some nice plays there. But yeah, that was my trading day. I think I could have been more patient up here, just put a sell limit instead of taking another loss up here. I could have said if sellers get up here, then I'll look for the short, because I don't think buyers are going to muster up, are going to get above Friday's value given Apple's weakness. So yeah, that was my trading day. That's all I got for today. Yeah, and yeah, really liking. I feel like because I've been doing these trade reviews so often, I'm like settling into doing this every day, and it just feels like second nature almost. Doesn't feel like work. Just feels like, okay, this is what I do, and this is what I talk about, so I'm gonna continue talking about it. Um, so I'm gonna quickly just look at the sectors and where, what we're looking like on the daily. Not too bad on SPY. QQ, nice upper wick. XLF, pretty good red day, but a little bit of a lower wick. IWM pullback. XLE, big red day. XBI, oh excuse me, XBI was a bit green, had some profit taking near the end of the day. XLV, yeah, kind of closed where it opened, so a bit weaker. But we are looking for a daily lower high on XLV, so wouldn't be surprised with some pullback, like a 2-day lower high. Yeah. So buyers couldn't find acceptance above the value area high of, or the value area low of this range. So yeah, that's a nice spot for sellers to maybe pull back. XLU, big upper wick. Could be like the 2-day lower high there. That was the more likely scenario. Yeah, let's smooth it out on the 2-day. Yeah. But yeah, that's XLV. SMH, big red day. So the fact that SMH couldn't get above this was notable, and sellers are having some good follow through. I think sellers want this value area high of 140.59 from this range here. So yeah, if SMH has another pullback tomorrow, going to be looking at tech to maybe settle down a bit and either go sideways or consolidate a little bit more. Apple, so Apple it was really cool, or really interesting. We got to the all-time high, broke it by, I think, less than $1, maybe a couple dollars, and then had a big pullback. Not a big pullback. Oh wait, no, yeah, big pullback. So we'll see if we get some consolidation on Apple tomorrow, or if buyers want some new all-time highs. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple acts as a laggard bull to some of this AI tech things, because obviously, Apple's probably working on AI. So wouldn't be surprised if Apple, because I haven't heard much news about Apple AI, so could act as a laggard to some of this AI action, which would help tech. Let's see, Amazon, green day, looks good. Netflix, big upper wick. It looks like buyers are getting a little bit tired here, but we'll see. Google, still kind of sideways, but a nice green day, some profit taking at the end of the day. Microsoft, small range, can't get quite above this value area high here of this daily. So wouldn't be surprised if, no acceptance above here, if sellers look for this, and maybe we get some sideways action after, really nice, move from the lows. Nice from November of last year, 57%. It's not bad. Meta. Yeah, so this POC on Microsoft is going to be key tomorrow at 335.02. If sellers crack this, looking at the value area low at 326.56. Meta. Yeah, some profit, big upper wick. Looks like daily consolidation is underway. Yeah, it could be looking to consolidate more to get to this value area high at roughly 265.72. Tesla, but we are kind of in, this here, so we'll see how this resolves. Sellers want to see something like this. Boop. Buyers want to see this. Boop. Or maybe this. Boop. Okay, Tesla, kind of indecision candle. I think buyers still want this POC here at 223.84. As long as buyers are holding this range, they're still good. Buyers get below this range, we still have the value area high of all this, so sellers maybe try for this, but could be a spot where buyers um, step in 206.56 there. All right, and NVDA kind of sideways up here. Not surprising after such a big move. So it's a really nice EQ. High, low, lower high, higher low. And if we continue to hold this 15-minute range from regular trading hours that I have up, we held it today, couldn't get acceptance into it, then buyers are still positioned well for maybe another leg up. The big red flag for sellers would be break this and then back test this to then do this. But if buyers hold this and we tighten up and then boom, that's what buyers want to see. Yeah, so like this, boom, maybe something like that. All right, so that's my trade review and market recap. That's all I got for today. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. And yeah, just enjoying it, just casually, just, this is what I do now. So this is what I talk about. This is what I do. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I didn't really go over ES. I didn't play ES a lot, but, if I look at it probably respected some good levels. Yeah, ES had a nice play here off the value area low of this hourly range. A nice pullback here on this lower high. This was a nice one to do this. That's from here to here. That's about 25 ES points. And nice short here to, at least get to here. That's still, that's 4 points, which is not bad. And even here on the morning, we held this value area high, got to this value area high up here, 85. It's about 15 points. Yeah, so some good levels there for ES. Yeah, so for me, it's just using this broader context to like hold positions longer. And I think I'll get better at it. Like I have no doubt that I'll get better at it. Like using these ranges, picking a good trade location, using like the smaller time frame ranges, like 1 minute and even, 5 second on NQ, using the bigger time frame references. And with the smaller time frames, it allows me to pick my spots a bit better. Like, see, for holding the value area low and get above the POC of a small range that coincides with the larger range, then I can pick that spot and see if we get to a larger level. Yeah, if we get up to a larger level. So still working on that. Got to remind myself to do that more. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get better at it. I know I will, or like putting in the work, and just got to keep reminding myself to do it and look at these larger levels and pick my spots on the smaller time frames, and use that game theory and yeah, and look at correlation trading with sectors in tech to put it all together and pick my spots. All right, it feels like a sport for sure. Like in basketball, you pick your spots, and I'm sure in other sports too. But basketball players pick their spots and they do really well from what they're used to shooting from, or getting good looks and all that stuff. So all right, so that was my trade review for today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next trade review. Yeah, thank you.